Good morning, folks, and happy Saturday. It is going to be day 55 working down here at the ranch. And let me tell you, I am pretty sure I've gained about 8 pounds in the last 2 weeks. Mostly because I get home from work and sit down and snack and watch YouTube. But I'm really glad to finally get back out here. It's been about 2 weeks. We had a bunch of rain last weekend, and we're actually supposed to get some more rain tomorrow, and then possibly freezing rain, or at least it's going to rain and then it's going to get down to freezing. So I'm not looking forward to that, but it's a beautiful 70-degree morning right now. Figure that out. It was like 38 yesterday morning, I think. But anyway, I'm gonna try to work as much as I can today, just because I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to get down here tomorrow. But it's gonna be a pretty simple plan today. I'm gonna gather up this stuff again and get a little fire going down here. I had to kind of spread it out the last time I was here because I kind of wanted to kick back up and I was kind of ready to go home. So I need to get this put back together, get it burned out. Then I'm going to work on my nemesis over there, that big fire pit. I think with all the rain we've got, and it's still pretty moist down here right now, should be able to get that burned out. So if all that goes to plan, while I've got this big pile burning, I'm going to start cleaning up that little northern border there and get a couple of those trees cleaned up, get those out of there, and then hopefully start kind of working on this little western border here, see how much of this I can get cleaned up today. I'm going to try to get in there with the brush hog and clean up as much as I can. That should just leave me with the limbs and the smaller trees that I need to clean up. So that is the game plan. I'm going to try to work until I can't work anymore, which hopefully I can make it through the day, because I'm a little bit rusty and I haven't done much of anything in the last 2 weeks. So day 55, here we go. Well, this could end up being an uphill battle here. I brought some dry particle board in the hope that it would be dry enough to catch fire and get the rest of that stuff going. It is still pretty wet down here, but that one acts like it wants to go. This one over here, I kind of tried to get it going, and it's not really going very well. So I may have to see if I can figure out another method. My dry boxes are all gone now, so I was really thinking that it was gonna catch up in there in the middle somewhere and get going. But anyway, I'm kind of striking out on the fire deal here, so I'm gonna try to keep kind of working them a little bit. This big one here is the one I really want to get rid of. I think that one's gonna go, but I may end up putting my big dead logs in there to see if those will catch. And I think if those catch, then it may go ahead and I may be able to go ahead and get this big pile burned out. So we'll see what happens. All right, well, these are blazing now. I think it finally got to the middle where the dry stuff was at. But yeah, you can see how high that flame is. It's tickling that branch right there. Got me a little bit nervous. We'll see what happens. Well, yeah, as you can see, the middle, it burned up really hot in the middle. I had a feeling that's where all the dry stuff was at. So now it looks like it's gonna almost split into two piles. I think we're gonna be all right. I think if I would have done that when it was dry, folks, I would have been in some trouble. But I'm gonna let that burn for a little bit and see if I can get it settled down just a little bit, and then I'm gonna start cutting some trees up there on that northern line. This one over here is still just barely hanging on. I'll probably come back down and try to see if I can get it going a little bit better. I'm not as worried about this one as I was this one here. I wanted to get that one done and out of the way, so I'm gonna keep an eye on this for a few minutes, let it simmer down a little bit, and then try to get it kind of piled into one big pile, and then kind of start cleaning up a few of those trees along that northern line. I probably won't get too wild and crazy there, but then I want to get down here and start cleaning up this little area all the way down to that little burn lane. So finally got the fire going. Here we go. All right, well, got that little section cleaned up a little bit. It had a whole bunch of stuff in here, kind of half sticking up out of the ground. It was kind of a pain in the butt. But if it looks like my property starts to go back that way, so I'm not going to really mess with that right there, at least not yet. But it's bad enough that I am sucking wind because I've been holding down the couch for about 3 weeks. But then it seemed like every time I turned around, the smoke was coming right in my face. But that's dwindled down quite a bit. I think I'm going to spend probably 5 or 10 minutes just kind of trying to get it all into one big pile, or at least two piles, and try to get as much of it burned off as I can. This one here is pretty much all but out. There's a bunch of big stuff in it, so there's probably nothing really to keep burning. But I may try to go ahead and tighten that little pile up and see if I can get it gone. And then I think I'm going to start down here and see how well that brush hog does with that little hay-like grass. It's really, I got into some of it not too long ago, and it almost just more knocked it over than cut it up. So anyway, I think that's going to be somewhat the plan for the rest of the day. I got a whole bunch of dead branches laying in here that I may try to go ahead and get in the fire while I'm down here doing that. But I think I'm going to try to start opening this area up a little bit. See how far I get. I knew I was going to be out of shape. I didn't realize I was going to be this out of shape. I've only been here about 2 hours and I'm ready to tap out. We're not going to do that though. I don't know when the next time I'll be able to get down here is, so I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to start raking this, trying to get this raked up into one pile, see how much more of it I can get burned off. Here we go. All right, so I got that a little bit contained. Hopefully it'll burn out a good majority of that. If not, that's all right too. That was my main goal today, to get that big pile burned down. This one is still going just a little bit. I'll probably end up adding a little bit of stuff to it as I'm clearing out in this little area right here. There's a lot of dead branches and trees laying on the ground, so I may add to it as I'm going. I'm kind of already regretting summer. It's like 73, but it's been pretty chilly, so it's like hot and I'm sweating and tired, and it's only 71, so, or 72 or whatever. But anyway, I'm gonna try to get this little path cleaned up. I'm gonna try to just shoot straight down the middle and see how much of this easy stuff I can get up out of here, and then start kind of working my way in between the trees and stuff like that. We'll see how far I can get, but I had to get away from that smoke. It is brutal. So here we go. We'll see what we can get done. All right, well, that really wasn't too bad, and it actually did cut through there pretty good. There's definitely a lot of dead branches in here and some kind of big ruts from probably trucks coming down through here, but it did the trick. Got that widened out. Getting ready to sneeze. Oh shit, excuse me. Anyway, so yeah, that opened that up pretty good. I think what I'm gonna do now is come back here to the corner and kind of start. I'll find me a place to kind of cut through there and then clean up all of it all the way back up to the road, and that way this little corner is pretty much done as far as the brush hog goes. And again, you know the routine by now. I'll eventually come in here, get all the little trees and scraggly bushes out of here that I can get out of here, get this opened up. But now I can kind of work my four-wheeler down this little path a little bit and see if I can get her smoothed out. But for now, I'm going to try to clean up this little corner right here and see if I can get some more stuff added to that little fire over there, and try to get it back started up and get all this stuff kind of out of here before we get on down the road. So here we go. All right, folks, well, kind of got a good start on this little corner right here. There are a ton of vines and little trees that I need to get cut out of here at some point in time, but what I'm kind of hoping is that tomorrow, if it's saying it's gonna rain, it's supposed to start raining around 11 o'clock tonight and possibly raining all night. but then the sun's coming out in the morning, but it's going to be pretty cold. So I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on what ends up happening. Hopefully I can get down here tomorrow. If not, then pretty much the next time I come down here, try to turn this thing slow so it doesn't make a bunch of noise. Hopefully the next time I get down here, I'll just have to focus on getting in here with the brush hog and getting all this little stuff cleaned up in between the trees. That'll make it a whole lot easier to get in there and start clearing out the vines. There is a ton of vines. Almost everything you see is vines. So that's gonna be a task for sure. But the next time I come down, I won't have to worry about getting fires going and keeping an eye on the fires. And I had to clear out that little section on the north border there that was a little bit more of a mess than I was thinking it was going to be. But this over here is pretty much the end of my property, kind of where this big tree's laying at across here. But the hope is that the next couple of times, actually looks like it's right there, so it does come over a little bit more. But anyway, my hope is get this cleared out with the brush hog, and then honestly it's probably going to take a full weekend, maybe 2 full weekends, to get in here and get all these little trees cleaned up and basically have this section over here done. So I'm gonna probably work it down here for about another 30 minutes. It's about 2:30. I'm hoping to get out of here about 3:30. I'm kind of tired, kind of hungry, and hopefully I'll be able to get down here tomorrow. But we're gonna do a little bit more work in this little area right here, get a little bit more of that done. Then we're gonna go grab the game trails. It's been about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks almost since I've been down here. So that might not be right. Might be almost right at 2 weeks since I've been down here. But I did see some deer on the Vosker. I'll probably show you that right now. So a couple deer came in and we're eating some of the plants in there. So that's cool. Hopefully that means some other stuff has been moving around on the game trails. Here we go. Folks, well, I think that is going to be it for the working part of today. We got quite a good start down here. I don't know that it's halfway, but it's quite a little ways. A lot of vines to clean up down here, and little scraggly trees to kind of fix up. But we'll keep hitting it hard next time we come out. Like I say, it'd probably be a matter of spending a couple weekends down here and finally kind of finishing up this side. So speaking of that, if you guys have made it this far, I absolutely appreciate it. I know this isn't the most exciting channel on YouTube by any means. I've spent a lot of time out here just working, and I feel like once we get around the corner, I've got a couple ideas for making it a little bit more exciting and maybe a little less work and a little bit more fun. But I was thinking, I'll give you one more shot here. So yeah, that's opened up quite a bit there. Anyway, I've got a tent at the house that I'm gonna probably set up again after the new year. Work's busy right now. We got Christmas right around the corner. Some cold weather right around the corner. But I've got a tent that I want to try to set up. And basically, I want to get some, I have a night owl camera system at the house. That won't be the one I use, but I really like it. It's basically got 4 cameras. And I mean, I think you can buy enough cord, you can go quite a ways. I think it comes with 60 foot of cord, but you can go add on to that, and we might have to test how far we can go. But my plan is to set up a tent, set up the TV and my camera system inside the tent, and then drag the cameras out along some of these trails, and basically have a live feed of anything that might be moving around me. I love watching those stealth camping shows. I love watching people camping. I like watching the bushcrafting stuff. The one thing that always kind of gets me is it's like they're inside their tent and they're like, I hear something outside, and you know, 8 out of 10 times they don't open up the tent to see what's out there, and they don't have any cameras set up, so we just have to assume it's not one of their friends out there messing around. I try to be as authentic as I can be. I like authentic. I like being authentic. I don't like to make stuff up and over dramatize stuff. But anyway, with all that being said, I feel like with having a little camera system set up in there, we might be able to see if there's any critters coming in around us while we're in the tent. And I always say us, because you're with me here. If you're watching this, you're with me. And if nothing else, I'm talking to the camera. So, but my thought is that I might end up making that a little bit of a habit, and as I go deeper into my property, I'll take the tent deeper into the property, open up some new trails, and maybe set up, I think you can set up upwards of 8 cameras. I think something just flew down my shirt. Anyway, I thought that would be kind of fun and interesting. Have a little cookout, have a little camping night, set up some cameras, see if we can see some live action. I think with those night owls, you can actually get it set up on your phone to where it'll send you an alert if something does come across the screen, and then that way, if I'm not in the tent or if I'm not watching the screen, it'll tell me that there's something out there. So I think that would be kind of fun. You guys think that'd be kind of fun? Let's check these trail cams. Let's see if anything has come in here. I feel like we've got some stuff this time. Here we go. All right, that one's set. I don't know if you can see that wasp. I hope he took off. I think the critters are all confused, man. I think it got up to like 75 degrees today, which is crazy because, yeah, I mean, it has literally been either cloudy or raining for what seems like 2.5 weeks. Anyway, back to babbling a little bit more. You know, I like to watch some of those shows. I like to watch the bushcrafters, and I'll show you when we get back to the camp here. I bought a couple of wood augers that I want to kind of play with a little bit. I like watching those shows, and don't get me wrong, I think probably most 100% of it's legit. It's just like I'll be watching one and the guy's like on day 3 and he's been out in the rain doing stuff, and then the next thing you know, he's got like pulling 3 eggs out of the one backpack that he had, and like, I don't know that all of them add up. I'm not so sure they don't have like a bus or something, a van or something set up somewhere, and they go and grab some extra supplies. But the other thing about the bushcrafting is they normally just do it and set it up for, I don't know, 1 or 2 days, maybe a week. I think when I do it, I want to set it up to where it's a little bit more of a permanent thing. And I think when we start working on the other side, the south side of the property, I'm going to kind of have a little corner in there somewhere that I'm going to try to set up like a little bushcrafting shelter, and, you know, use some of these wood augers to, you know, kind of make some stuff that I've watched them make on some of those shows. Now I don't know that I can do it, but I sure want to try. All right, we set this camera up. This is a new area. I mean, it's not really a new area, it's just a new location for it, but it'd be nice to see if some stuff came right along there. So here we go. Well, it would be just my luck that I had the picture mode set up when something came up and decided it was going to get up and close and personal with the camera here. But anyway, if you haven't heard me babbling enough, I'm here to babble some more. Apparently, I set the picture mode on this camera. There's another buck there. Instead of the video mode. So I ended up getting a bunch of pictures. You can see how muddy it is out there. It rained a bunch. This one gets scared and runs off. Not sure what scared it. But anyway, pictures instead of videos, folks. All right. I'm eventually going to switch these cameras out with some of those newer ones that I got. I think it's called Deity or something like that, with the sound and the, you know, the sound and the, it's got a little bit longer timer on it. I don't know. These other ones that don't have any sound, they kind of suck sometimes, because you'll see the deer like looking around or something, and then you're wanting to know if you can hear something behind it. Anyway, I'm babbling. This is probably one of, it's got to be in the top 3 areas that I want to get cleaned up. But this area here might be one of the first areas that I set up the tent. It's all really going to determine when I bring it down here and kind of set it all up by the lean-to, because I'm going to need my solar generator, probably need a little bit of lighting and tables and stuff like that. But my thought was, if I could set it up out here and we can take a camera down the trail, we're going to go down here in a minute, we can set one back here by the feeder, set one going this way, and then basically have one set up looking right down in onto the tent, and then that way if something comes up by the tent, I'd be able to see it. Now we are going to go to the crow feeder now. I saw that Shane up there at Shane and Jamie's little homestead, he had him some crows on his trail cam the other day, so they are making the rounds, that's for sure. But we'll see if anything's, oh look, I don't know if you can see the cardinals or not. I'm pretty sure I saw them one of the last times I was out here, but I didn't get them on camera. But now I don't know if it's got to do with all the rain. I wouldn't think all the corn would disappear, but I think there's been some stuff out here eating, folks. Oh, wow. I'm not, that thing is really light too. Huh, I feel like we might have something. I don't want to get my hopes up too high. I always do, and I don't see anything, but this corn has been kind of sitting right on the edge like that. Not only is all the corn here gone, this thing feels quite a bit lighter, so maybe we got the money shot. Maybe something came on in here. Well, I can officially call this a deer feeder now and not a crow feeder. I'm also convinced that there's some footage that didn't seem to pick up, because there was a lot of corn missing, and this is the only video I actually have of something coming in and eating out of the feeder. We've had a couple deer walk by, but it seems like there was a lot of corn missing for only getting that one video of the buck going in there and actually eating out of the feeder. But I am pretty excited that some deer are finally making their way back here to the feeder. And we have some more good video coming up. Well, did I get my hopes up for nothing? I guess we're about to find out. Now, we did see 2 deer come through here the last time, but they walked right past, so maybe they came back later and started to eat. But I dropped some more corn on the ground. We'll check the video, but I don't know. I feel like that thing's quite a bit lighter than what it was the last time, because I've been wanting to move it. back here. But this was another area. I mean, if I had a top 5 list, this is probably in my top 5 where I want to kind of get this corner cut right here, so it'd be easier to take the four-wheeler up in through there, kind of open it up right there a little bit also. But this is probably another area that I wouldn't mind setting a tent up in. We're a little bit farther back here, and again, I think with just a little bit of work, I'm not sure if those are tracks or not. There's something kind of looks like a track, but anyway, I think a good part of this would be pretty easy to clean up. I say that a lot, but it doesn't look like there's a bunch of big trees, so I feel like I could open up this area a little bit more, and then possibly set a tent up back here, run a camera down that trail, you know, run a camera over to here, maybe one straight down farther by the intersection there, and again have one kind of pointing here in this area just in case we're out doing something else. But a lot of it's going to determine on how long that solar generator lasts, and you know, basically if I can get it all hooked up and get it all properly working right, especially with the notification. Something right there, big hole of some kind I don't remember seeing. All right, let's see if anything came on through. Ugh.
Well, that was a little up close and personal. I'm starting to wonder if he's the one that came over to that other camera and decided to give it a look. But as you can see, the youngin' there has a couple spikes too. So a couple bucks moving on in there in that area. I don't know that I ever caught him out on any of the other cameras before. So that definitely might be a good place to set up a little clover plot and the deer feeder. Then there's this fella here. He's only got the one antler. I think I may have seen him on one of the other cameras up front. Looks like he hangs around back here quite a bit. I ended up catching him a couple times. This one here gives himself just a little bit of a scare. I'm not 100% positive if that's the one from the first video with the other buck, but they do kind of look a little bit similar. And believe it or not, yep, he scares himself again. So that was definitely a pretty good catch out here. I got a bunch of wind, so I think I'm going to still have to eventually set this camera up so it's not getting triggered by the wind so often. I think I had about 45 shots of the wind.
All right, that camera's about dead. This camera's about dead, I should say. But yeah, anyway, we've had a couple deer come down through that trail. That's the one we started, I don't remember, exploring at the ranch day 3 or something. Kind of path to nowhere, but eventually I'd like to get those paths opened up, get some more opened up, if nothing else, cutting across and meeting up with some other trails. And then that way there's plenty of trails out here to ride my four-wheeler, plenty of trails to kind of set some of those cameras up on. The thing about that, I'll only be able to do that when I'm down here, because it has to have some sort of Wi-Fi to notify you that anything's going on. So wouldn't do a whole bunch of good. But kind of back to some of those camping videos I watch, you know, it's like I can't figure out if a lot of them do a lot of crap just for views. Like, oh, there's something outside my tent. Oh, I can tell it's a person. They're walking around. And it's like, I don't know, man. If I was in my tent, somebody was walking around, I'd probably want to get out of the tent. I don't think I'd want to stay in the tent. But I would definitely want to have some sort of camera set up, whether they're live or trail cameras or whatever, just to let me know, like, hey, somebody actually is moving around and it's not an animal out there checking out the campsite. Anyway, so with all of that being said, that's what I hope to do around the start of the new year, is kind of start bringing a little bit more fun content than just me working. I still have a ton of work to do out here. Getting this first area opened up here has really been at the top of my list of goals to achieve. And honestly, folks, we are almost there. You know, this day we used to not be able to see through any of this. We used to have a little trail right here going out to the front here. You know, we eventually got this little trail cleaned up. And so again, I think even just a little bit of work, I can almost make another trail out there, meeting up with that trail. I'll show you here in a minute which one I'm talking about. But all right, this one I'm excited about a little bit. We always catch stuff on it, and now with this bigger view, I'm really hoping we've got a lot more activity than we normally get out here. So let's take a look. Here we go. Always catch stuff on it, and now with this bigger view, I'm really hoping we've got a lot more activity than we normally get out here. All right, well, was I excited for nothing? I kind of hope not. I think this is the first time that I'll be checking it, that this whole area has been opened up over here, so I am definitely excited to see what's going on. But anyway, we're down to our last trail cam. Again, I think eventually, as we get a little bit into the new year, I'm gonna probably grab a couple more trail cams. I'm gonna kind of trade out some of these older ones for some newer ones. And I'm gonna get a couple more extra ones set up out here in the hopes of covering a lot more of the property. Also hoping that in the first couple of months of the new year, I can kind of get in here, start working this area a little bit. And this is kind of the area I'm thinking about kind of setting up like a little bushcrafting area, little bushcrafting shelter, and kind of mess around with stuff I've seen online or on YouTube, really. I think that's a dog. Not that I'll know what I'm doing, but you got to try something before you know how to do it. I've never learned anything doing it right the first time. So, all right, last one. Let's check it, see if anything's come in through here.
I should probably turn this in to craziest creatures caught on webcams. Oh wait, it's just a deer. That scared itself again. I'm not 100% sure if these are all the same deer moving around in a big circle. It definitely seems like some of them are new, but this little area back here has been picking up quite a bit of action as well. Hopefully we'll get more as we open it up.
All right, well, something popped up on there I hadn't seen before. It was like 3 little dots, but when I put the new card in and turned it on, it said on and did its countdown, so hopefully that one's all right. But look, folks, again, if you've made it this far, I appreciate it. Hopefully I was able to reward you with a with some good trail cam videos and pictures. But like I said, these next couple of weeks I'm just going to be trying to get through Christmas. I'm going to get down here when I can and start knocking out the rest of this down here on the western front, and then hopefully I can almost have that done by the end of the year. I think after this weekend I might end up working pretty much 7 days a week until the end of the year, so we'll see what happens. But this is what I ended up buying. Let me set this down here for a second. Sorry, kind of hard to get out of the bag there. So this is what I ended up getting, and there's 4 different ones, 4 different sizes. I had to find me a stick to put in there, but it'd be kind of cool to start using that for a couple things. Like one, to drill a couple holes in some of these stumps and try that old method of burning out a stump from the inside, see if that works. But also I want to try something I've seen before. You guys may have seen it before, but a guy will put like 2 holes in a tree trunk or a stump, and then like catch it on fire, and he'll be able to cook them up some coffee. So I thought that'd be kind of cool. Like I said, try a couple of these things that the bushcrafters and some of these more outdoor guys than I do, some of the stuff that they do, and you know, hopefully we can do some more videos out here that aren't just strictly work. I'm a little bit of a dictator out here on myself, like get work done, get stuff done, and then get to the fun stuff. But that's going to be day 55, folks. I hope to get down here tomorrow. If not, I'll probably post a video between now and next week, just kind of giving you an update on what's going on. But if I can get out here tomorrow, I'm going to get out here tomorrow. I'll only have to focus on the brush hog, and we'll get more of this little area over here cleaned up. Then I'd really like to start focusing on some more fun content for you folks. I appreciate you, appreciate all the likes, subscribes, comments. I hope you guys are having a great weekend, and we will catch you next time.